Hey, this is Bradley Bender with Semantic Links and Semantic Mastery, and in this quick video I want to talk about how relevance matters, why relevance matters for link building and for SEO, optimizing for the semantic web. The algorithm has shifted considerably in the last year. It is now currently the middle of 2023, and within the last 12 months, the algorithm has really shifted away from what we've always known as SEOs, like a keyword-based search algorithm, to more of an entity-based or topic-based algorithm. And in the semantic web, there's really three things that we need to optimize for in order to be effective. And that is, number one, associations between entities. Number two is relevance. And number three is corroboration or data validation. Those are really the three optimization kind of tactics or methods that we need to perfect or to become proficient at as SEOs in the semantic web, right? So as I just talked about, there's three kind of pillars: associations between entities, relevance, and corroboration or data validation. So let's talk about relevance in this video. Relevance matters for the semantic web, both relevance on site, in other words, having topical relevance and building topical authority to the website and the local entity and its entirety. Does that make sense? So there's relevance, both topical relevance for the topic itself. Then there's geographic or local relevance, which are signals that can be generated through Google Maps, verifying a Google Maps or Google Business profile, registering to local business directories, local business licensing, and things like that. Those are all kind of, joining local chamber of commerce, things like that. Those are all kind of local proximity or geographic signals that can be added or applied to a local entity or a brand, a local business. Does that make sense? So we have topical relevance and we have geographic relevance that matter on site. But the same thing occurs for off site, right? So off page or backlinks, things that are relevant. So links that are linking directly to the self-hosted site or the Google business assets that aren't topically relevant at fully relevant links, they're basically discounted or discredited. They lose much of their value. What matters the most for ranking in organic search right now is topical relevance, okay? So getting links from relevant sources significantly influences, top organic ranking. And when I say links that are relevant, I mean links that are, in order for a link to be given full credit or full value, it needs to have topical relevance at both the referring page level and the referring domain level. What do I mean by that? Well, I talked about in a previous video that's also on the Semantic Links YouTube channel that basically the Google algorithm now, natural language API has been, the natural language algorithm that Google has developed over the years has gotten so good that it is now another layer of the core algorithm. And so Google included that as part of the core algorithm so that it can determine the relevance and the association between entities, as I just talked about, right? Three pillars: association between entities, relevance and corroboration, or data validation. Those are the three kind of things that we need to optimize for in the semantic web. And so Google's natural language is another kind of layer to the core algorithm now that very quickly it can scan a page. When a Googlebot comes to crawl a page, it scans the page and it determines what are the topical categories of the main content area of the page, and it assigns the topical categories and a confidence score based on what those how confident Google is that the content in the main content area of the page is within those topical categories, if that makes sense. So then it crawls the links that are pointing to that page, and it does the same process on the referring page and then once again to the referring domain, and it looks at what are the most prominent or primary topical categories of the root domain itself. So generally, as link builders or as SEOs, when we are getting links or placing links, buying links, building links, whatever, to our target assets, we are for years we've always known that it's better to get links from relevant sources, relevant referring pages. In other words, the page that the link is placed on, it's a contextual link. To be more effective, it should be a contextual link and it should be within relevant context. Does that make sense? So, but for the last several years, we have really focused as SEOs on just getting links from relevant referring pages. That means the page that the link is placed within has some relevance to what it is linking to, your target URL. But for the most part, we never really cared so much for looking at what is the topical main or prominent primary topical categories of the root domain itself. So what Google does is the Googlebot looks at, it first crawls the target page, right? So the page in question, so our pages, right? The page that we are building links to, it crawls that page, determines what the topical categories are, assigns a confidence score. Then it crawls the links pointing at that page to their referring page and does the same thing there, and it looks for a relevance match between categories. Then it does it one more time to the root domain, and it determines what are the primary or most prominent topical categories of the domain itself. And then it assigns those topical categories in a confidence score, and it's looking for a relevance match at all three levels. And if there is a mismatch at any one of those levels, then that link has lost some value. Maybe not entirely, but some value. So in other words, if there is page relevance or topical relevance at the referring page level, then the link, but not at the referring domain level, then the link has lost some of its value. It's still providing some value, but not as much as it could as if it had a topical relevance match at both the referring page and the referring domain level. So I bring this up because, you know, in the semantic web, we're talking about creating associations between entities, relevance and corroboration, reinforcing data, validating data, constantly reinforcing that, okay? So if we understand that relevance is what matters in the semantic web, and we are working on local SEO projects, there's two things that we need to balance. We need to work on topical relevance for ranking in organic search. So that means getting links from other sources that have topical relevance both for best effect at both the referring page and the referring domain level. Because now that link is given full credit, full value, full weight by Google. Does that make sense? If you're getting links from sources that aren't fully relevant and have topical relevance matching at both the referring page and referring domain level, then those links are automatically being devalued at least to a degree. If there is no relevance match either at the referring page level or the referring domain level, so there's zero relevance match, then Google just completely ignores the link. So what I'm saying is it's important in the semantic web to be paying attention to first identifying what are the topical categories that Google has identified on your website and your target assets. You can do that by scanning content through Google's natural language API, or there's some tools out there that do that, like on-page.ai. Great tool, it's expensive, but you can submit your website or URLs or straight up content that hasn't even been published yet directly to Google's NLP. API, so natural language API, so that it'll tell you what the topical categories are. Then you can tune the content or optimize the content to make sure that it is the topical categories that you want your target to be associated with. Does that make sense? But then from a backlink standpoint, you should also be trying to match link sources with the same topical categories that were identified on the target, which is what we do at Semantic Links for the topical relevance. So that's what influences organic the most. Now, what influences maps ranking the most is getting links with local relevance or geographic relevance. That would be like getting links from other local businesses or local entities in the same geographic area. So that would be, some places that you can get kind of traditional links from for local that have local relevance or geographic relevance would be like joining the local chamber of commerce, right? There's an expense to that, but when you join a local chamber of commerce, you get placed in their local business directory. That is a significantly strong geographic backlink, or a backlink with geographic relevance. Okay, joining the local, sponsoring local charities, little league teams, parks and recs organizations, churches, etc. So sponsorships, local sponsorships are a great way to also get links from other local sources. News and media sites, local news and media sites, local event sites. Another great opportunity is to join lead share groups, like lead share networking groups, meetup.com, BNI, etc., where you meet, on a weekly or bi-weekly or whatever basis with other local businesses, and you share leads and things like that. Well, you can do link exchanges there. All of that is great ways to get local links to help in maps ranking. But you need to strike a balance between topically relevant links to rank in organic and locally relevant links to rank in maps. It's really important to kind of balance the two so that you have kind of a holistic exposure in Google, both in organic search and maps search and local finder search now, right? So what I'm trying to say is relevance matters when it comes to the semantic web. Again, that is the second leg of a three-leg approach to optimizing for the semantic web. Associations between entities, which we can help force that or force Google to recognize associations between entities, relevance, and corroboration or data validation. Those are the three things that we need to do. Relevance matters in the semantic web. I can't stress that enough. So at Semantic Links, we do a combination of link building with topically relevant links with topical relevance matching at both the referring page and referring domain level. Plus, for our subscriber clients, we also hunt down domains that have expired that have local backlinks already pointing to them in the same geographic region or area as our target assets that we need to build the links for. So in other words, we go out and we find expired domains from businesses that have shut down. A lot of domains are available because of COVID, and a lot of businesses shut down. And so there's a lot of local domains out there that are currently available that have backlinks from other local sources pointing to them, and we can go find them. And that's what we do at Semantic Links for locally relevant links, is we go find these domains that are relevant to the city, county, region, etc., that is relevant for your business. And we find those domains, do the analysis to make sure that they have referring domains pointing, backlinks from referring domains that are locally relevant, pointing to them, and then we purchase the domain, put content on it that was similar to what was previously published, so it's still a relevant domain, and then we can build links from that directly to your target assets, which that satisfies the local relevance. So we do a combination at Semantic Links of both topically relevant links with topical relevance matching at the referring page and referring domain level, so those links are provided or given full credit by Google, and also locally relevant links that are links that help significantly with maps ranking. So we strike a balance between the two. Now, in some cases, we have some clients that ask us to prioritize one over the other, and we can certainly do that. But we always recommend striking a balance between the two, because if you put all of your eggs in the maps basket, so to speak, and Google algorithm changes, and all of a sudden you drop out of the top three, and you have no organic presence because you weren't focusing on that. Now you don't have any leads coming in while you're trying to resolve the maps issue, right? Or vice versa. So the idea is it's best to optimize for both organic and maps, and we can do that with Semantic Links using our relevance matching, both, again, topical relevance matching and geographic relevance matching. So relevance matters in the semantic web. Semantic Links is exactly that is exactly how we optimize for the semantic web for all of our clients. So if you have any questions about that, reach out to me at bradley@semanticlinks.io, or you can check us out at semanticlinks.io, or log into a dashboard, register for a free account at dash.semanticlinks.io. This is Bradley Benner with Semantic Links and Semantic Mastery. I'll talk to you soon.